Welcome to Attican Plays Railroad Tycoon 2 Platinum. All right, hi, this is Attican and welcome to the start of a new series. We're going to take a look at Railroad Tycoon 2 Platinum. Now, there's a whole series there: Sid Meier's Railroad, Railroad Tycoon 1, 2, and 3, and I didn't play any of them. They all came out in the late night, pre-2000, right around this one here would be maybe 2001-ish. So we're talking almost a quarter of a century ago. So we have to bear with the technology. We have to bear with the graphics. They're nowhere near the way we see things today on computer games. But, man, the game itself, if you play the game, for the planning, the problem solving, that kind of stuff, this is a great game, and I really wish I'd played them way back when. Especially when then it would have given me context for a lot of the bad press that Railway Empire got, because people were comparing this one to Railway Empire. Railway Empire is a completely different game, a great game. Obviously, I love the game, but I also really like this game too. It's a very good puzzle solving game. They give you really good challenging scenarios that are different and require you to use different elements of the game and its functionality to solve each problem that they give you. So we're going to jump into this, and I did want to quickly say thank you to all of you for your support and your kind words. As you know, as many of you know, I've been dealing with my mother's illness. I just wanted to give you an update that everything came out great. She recovered. We've moved her into an independent living portion of an assisted living facility. It's a beautiful, wonderful place. We're full of great people who take good care of her. We are delighted by the whole thing, and just thank you again for all your support. I just want to let you know all is well in Attican land. Hope all is well with you too. So let's jump in here and play the single player new campaign, and we're going to play the classic campaign. Of course, we're going to play it on hard difficulty.
Well, hello there. You're noticing the gents on the board. Well, go ahead, have a look. Iron men is what they call them. Some of them upright businessmen. Some as low down as a snake's belly. But you know, all of them were legends. Many a daydream I found myself wondering what it would be like to reign high on the rails of steel. You too, huh? Oh, why don't you give it a try? Take a gander at the first challenge, the Iron Seed. You might want to make some different choices from how the Iron Men got started. Choose an option from the bottom group, then get started. By the looks of you, this should be pretty entertaining. I think I'll stick around. Well, go on, get to it. Well, here you are, on the threshold of greatness. With the sweat and labor of the first spikes you drive, you'll be launching your first trains, and at the same time an era of revolutionary transport. Watch as a nation grows with the help of your iron horses. The people of that nation, if not the whole dang world, are watching and hoping, so don't mess up.
All right, so each scenario, as I said, they're totally different. This first one is really an intro. It's almost a tutorial. And there is, by the way, a whole thing you can load up of a tutorial campaign where they can walk you through a whole bunch of tooltips and help you learn the game. But we're going to jump right into the campaign. This first one here, they all have a standard for bronze, silver, and gold awards. Of course, we're going for gold on everything. And the first one here is mimicking the start of the Baltimore and Ohio, the B&O Railroad out of Baltimore, Maryland, excuse me. And there's three standards. To get a bronze, we have to connect to Washington, D.C. and haul at least 4 loads of cargo. Cargo in this game, in this one, can be passengers, mail, logs, timber, goods, food, whatever. So we have to haul 4 loads of cargo and connect to Washington by 1840 at 10 years. So you can see this is extremely easy. Silver to Harper's Ferry and haul 8 loads, and gold, Philadelphia, and haul 12. So we'd have to connect to all 3 of those cities, to Washington, to Harper's Ferry, and Philly, in order to get our gold. And the loads in this one's irrelevant because there's no possible way you could get any of this done without hauling that many loads of stuff. So I'm not going to even make a slight effort at covering everything in this video. I'm just going to give you a taste for the game, cover a couple of concepts, and if you like this, make sure you hit that like button, put a comment in you want to see more, and we'll do more of these. It's a hard game for me to record because it's old technology. It's in a different size. It's back when computers were much smaller, monitors were much smaller. The number of pixels were much smaller. So, bear with it. It's not going to look as pretty as some of the things we see, but it still works. You can still make out what's going on. All right. So this game is all about getting a sweetheart route. So you want to get a long passenger line. The way it works is, let's say we had a line from Baltimore to Washington. And what will happen is if we were running, say, 6 cars, because that's the max you could run, if we were running 6 cars of passengers, let's say, from Baltimore to Washington, they would have a base price based upon that distance. And the farther the distance, the more money you make. That's true of passengers, mail, and any other freight that you might haul. Mail is kind of a type of freight. So that starts at a certain value, but then it degrades over time depending upon how long it takes you to work your way down there. And the time frame in this game is, you have to get used to it. A year goes by, you blink your eyes and a year is gone. So you really are doing things in terms of almost planning what we're going to do this year, and then let's see how that worked out. That's kind of how it plays. So what we're going to do is look for a sweetheart line. We want to get down here to Washington, D.C. We only have $299,000. So let's see what we can do. If we ran a line right through Relay and kind of like this, not quite to that river, and started working our way down, and we can't even do that much. Let's see what we can do. Start working our way down, 257. You can see at the bottom of the screen the price, very bottom of the screen, 272, 263. That'll do. Okay, so now we're just about broke, right? We haven't even connected anything. But what we can do now is go over here. And just, as I said, I'm not going to try to cover everything. We've got a book here that tells us about our character and what stock he's got and, all that kind of stuff. Then if we go back out and come back in, over here, we click this book. This is like you're looking at your desk. So there's a book here, there's this view of yourself, and then there's this view over here, the little black book they call it. Okay, so this is our company book. It shows us in the salary. We draw a salary, comes out of the company's money, and we have a manager, this case Thomas Crampton, who's great for this particular era because he gives us faster speed on our steam engines, we're in the steam era. We have to pay a penalty of higher maintenance, but we also get acceleration. So these things move under him, and speed is of the essence. And then there'll be data gathered as we play for our income statement, our balance sheet. These territories are something we don't have to worry about here. We have full rights in this particular scenario. In other scenarios, this screen will matter a lot. And we have our finances page. So the first thing we want to do is, of course, embrace debt. Debt is your friend. We're going to issue a bond, and we also have the option of issuing stock. We're going to put 1,000 more shares of stock out there of our company, and that's going to raise us $81,000 after we look at the price of the stock and pay the underwriting fees. So we'll take that too. And in this particular scenario, there's no reason not to issue the stock because the stock isn't what we're trying to drive here. Okay, so we want to run down here and get that connection, a nice straight connection into Washington. And then we want to have a station down here that's going to catch all those houses. Here we go. There we go. We want it to catch all those houses down there. Now we want to give it, at this end, we definitely want sand and water. That's important to keep the trains running. They need sand for traction, water to cool the engines down, and the roundhouse gives them oil, which they need as well. They don't need it as often. The sanding and water is the main ones. Because we have some money, we'll put all three down here. And then we'll go back up and say, okay, now we've got a connection between Baltimore and Washington. Now these houses, see these houses here generate half a passenger per year and 0.2 mail per year. So about 2.5 to 1 ratio of passengers to mail. But that's why we wanted that catchment area to get them all. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 houses. So 5.5 passengers and a fair amount of mail will be generated every year in Washington. And remember, the time goes by quickly, so a year is nothing in this game. It really isn't. And now up here in Baltimore, we've got this. Look at this. We've got a port that does 2 passengers and a mail every year. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses. That's 4. So we're getting 6 passengers a year in Baltimore plus the mail. So we got 6 over there, and what do we say here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5.5 here. So those are 2 good cities. They're about the same size. So they're a great place to run a line between because they're the same size, and you can kind of get even distributions on both sides. So what we want to do is start running our little train here, the rocket. Now, another concept that's very important. It tells us our cost one time to buy it, our maintenance each year, and our fuel each year. These are big deals in some cases. Has poor acceleration and below average reliability. This is a sled on wheels kind of thing. It's your, what is it I call them? Anyway, so it's a little go-kart. We don't have a train yet. But anyway, got what we got. So it tells us for each load, you can load up to 6 wagons on each train. And you can pick how much of a load you want. And then by grade, you can see that if you get over a couple of people and a 4% grade, this train is just crawling. So it just crawls up any of the big slopes and even a mild slope. So we want everything to be even, and we don't want to run a bunch of traffic here. So let's just run a couple here, try to get this decent speed. And we could run. Let's run a couple. All right, so we'll purchase that and set up by default for a couple. So that's a fine way to do it. And we'll say if you're going to run 2, you got to be full. Don't leave until you've got a full load. Okay, so that's a train. Do we have enough for another one? We do. We'll buy another one and we'll start it down at the other end. Same line, but start it down in Washington. Whatever line you last looked at when you buy a new train, it automatically defaults to that. So it makes it kind of easy to build multiple trains. So now we got a couple of trains. We've got our repairs and stuff set up at both ends. Let's run them. So I'm going to speed this up and let them go. So the one here in Baltimore, or this one here out of Washington, has already started. And you see it's worth $347,000 when it gets to the other end. $367,000. Sorry, did it get? There, it went from 367 to 366. It's starting to degrade. The one on the other end kind of started out 368, and it's gonna there. You just saw it kind of drop down. It's degrading over time as they go. Now the other thing is when they meet here in the middle, they're going to slow down. One of them will keep going, the other one will stop and let it pass. It's almost like they're mimicking little side tracks all over the place. So you can run single track all the time if you really want to, but we don't want to. We want the speed. We want them to get to the other end as fast as we can. See how they met. And we could have double tracked that little section there and avoided that, but I spent all my money. So maybe a better thing would have been to leave the stuff off here, leave the roundhouse off and double track some. That would have been better. There's an opportunity for improvement right there. We just passed a year, so I'm going to stop for a second and show you that we just, a year is already gone. We haven't even delivered a load yet. But let's go look at our book again, and let's say, I don't think we can. Now, our credit rating's still too low. We can't issue any more stock, so let's just keep going. Oh, we couldn't do a bond. We could issue some stock, but I don't want to do that yet because, there's just no point. It won't give us enough money to give us anything to do with. And when these guys hit, they're still going to be worth, look at this, 365, 336. So this guy up here, look at this, 335,000 we got out of that one train. So, okay, it's reminding us our conditions. And now we have the John Bull. So let's slow down for a second. I want to turn these guys, take that money that we got and turn these trains into the John Bull, which is much faster. We can start hauling more loads. So let's just do this. Let's do something like that and say you have to be half full. In fact, let's do this. 5 passengers and a male, and you have to be half full to go. So this is just go with however much you can take. This the gold is or yellow is half full, and the red means you have to be completely full before you take off. If we hit all stations here, it gives both sides the same consist. And then we can set the condition here to say half full on either end. So you have to be a half full to run, and that would be our John Bull. And then we'll go to our next train, and we can see it's still Stevenson Rocket, but we're going to replace it with a John Bull, and we're going to give it the same kind of deal. Half full and half full. Okay, so now we should have a couple of decent trains running through there. And what we can do now is watch for, there's all kinds of things we can do now. But let's just watch them, see where they might intersect, and we'll see if we can have a little money. Yeah, we got money. Okay, we've got some money. Now we could double track. We could double track like the middle, like this. Maybe even all the way down here, and we still got money. Let's just do it. Let's go like that. And see these little bars, the green and stuff. This guy here is okay. This guy should be getting better. All right, so they let's see what we got here. They like us. We still can't buy stock, but we can issue some more bonds, I think. We're going to embrace debt. Okay, so now we got some money. Now we got almost 1.5 million. So now we can do whatever we want. 1.5 million. I wonder if we could do a double track all the way to Philadelphia. Could we? We can. 1.25 million. Okay. And 200,000, we could actually connect it, but we couldn't run any trains. So let's just wait. I could have waited on that too. I spent that money. Now we're maintaining track. But this guy's going to come in here. He's got a small load because he got out faster than our new orders got in. But there, he gave us a little bit of money. Now we can go, slow it back down a little. We can go up here to Philadelphia and put in a nice station up here in Philadelphia and pick up all of that stuff up there. Do we have any money? Got 234. Let's at least put sand and water up here. Okay, we got double track, so we can run a John Bull. Instead of Baltimore to Washington, we can run Baltimore to Philly, or we can even run Philly to Washington, would be an even better line. But it might take too long to get there. So let's start one out of Baltimore. And then let's buy another train. And that was the last line we looked at. And let's tell it to start one out of Philly. So now we've got Baltimore and Philly. Got lines running in both directions, Baltimore to Philly. And look at that amount. It's worth 1.5 million to start off with. So it's working its way up to Philly. And the one up in the Philly end is still waiting on cargo. That's all right. It'll get there. And we could send it off, but I wanted to have some kind of a load before it takes off. So now you can see all this beautiful gold here. This is money. And there goes another year. They don't like us. They should. We're doing a great job. Now, look at this. We can buy some stock. So we bought some stock in Baltimore and Ohio. And we can issue, no, we can't. We're done with bonds. We could repay one, but I don't want to. I want the money. Here comes some more cash. So let's do this year's work. We're going to go. We need to go out down here to Harper's Ferry eventually. Why don't we go down here to Frederick? I have a soft spot for Frederick because I used to live there. Very nice little town. It's not that little anymore, actually. All right, we're going to go down to Frederick, and we're going to get a station that'll pick up this. So what does that look like? Would a medium do it? It will. Look at that. So we'll put a medium station in Frederick. We'll put in sand and water. Okay. And then we'll start a train. Shoot, let's go all the way. Let's go Philadelphia to Frederick. And again, half full. Okay. I think we started in Philadelphia. And I'm going to actually buy another one and start it in Frederick. Okay. And we still got money left. All right, let's run it a little bit till we have a little bit more. Now, the other thing we can do, we got 95, well, now we're paying our expenses and losing our money. Okay, got a new train coming, the DeWitt Clinton. By the way, if I just ran a line down here to Harper's Ferry, I think, and put a station there, I think we'd be done. But we'll let this run for a minute. We haven't even gotten touched industries, and we don't need to. Look at this, 1.3 million. 1.3 million. That's the Frederick to Philly. Another 963. That one's probably degraded some. Now they want got a bonus to connect to Ellicott Mills, but we don't have any money right now. That's going to change. There we go. Got some money. They're excited about us. We can't buy any more stock. We could probably do more bonds, but I don't even think we need to. Nah. Let's just end this one. This one was too easy. All right, we'll go down here and like so, and we'll put a station in Harper's Ferry right there. I think we're done, but let's put a roundhouse down there. Sand and water. Let's do sand and water. Let's do sand. Okay. And come out of it. And there we go. So that was pretty easy. We got our goal pretty easily. I'm going to keep playing just so we can talk about it for a minute. So basically, we saw that, getting that Sweetheart passenger line kind of funded everything for us. And there were so many ways I could have done this. I didn't even get into upgrading the stations to make more money. This one went by too quickly. But if you like this, hit that like button, leave a comment, and we will keep going with it. I'm going to keep going with it for a little while. And let me know how you like it, and we'll catch you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and join us for our next Railroad Tycoon 2 Platinum video. Thank you.